Let's kick things off with something that'll make every cat-owning Mac user smile. According to 9 to 5 Mac's Indie App Spotlight, there's a new solution to one of the most relatable problems out there. Your beloved feline friend decides your MacBook keyboard is the perfect place to nap or play. We've all been there. Your cat walks across your keyboard, and suddenly you've got random characters everywhere. Emails get sent at the worst times, and your document becomes complete gibberish. Well, Cat's Lock is here to save the day. This clever app lets your cat roam freely across your keyboard without causing any damage whatsoever. You can enable it whenever your kitty is nearby, and it'll prevent any accidental inputs from reaching your Mac. It's a simple but genius solution to a problem that's plagued Mac users forever. So if you've got a cat and a MacBook, this one's definitely worth checking out. Moving on to wearables, 9 to 5 Mac is reporting that we can expect Apple's next-generation smartwatch later this year. The Apple Watch Series 12 is rumored to arrive this September, and while Apple is likely to stick with the same overall design language we've seen with the Series 11, there are definitely some changes coming. The big question is, what exactly will be different? Well, that's where it gets interesting. While 9 to 5 Mac hasn't spilled all the beans on what we're expecting, the timing tells us Apple is planning to maintain its yearly refresh cycle. If you're an Apple Watch user thinking about upgrading, you might want to hold off just a bit longer to see what Series 12 brings to the table. We'll have much more details as we get closer to September, so stay tuned right here for all the latest updates. Now, let's talk about something that affects everyone with a digital presence. As reported by 9 to 5 Mac, data brokers are making serious money by selling your personal information, and I mean everything. We're talking about your phone number, your email address, your home address, even sensitive details like your social security number. Right now, your information could be packaged up and sold to spammers, scammers, and identity thieves. It's a sobering reality in our digital age. While Apple's privacy protections can help block some of this tracking, the reality is they can't protect you from everything. Data harvesting is becoming increasingly sophisticated, and the brokers keep finding new ways to profit off your personal details. So what can you do about it? 9 to 5 Mac suggests that if you want to proactively remove your information from these broker databases, services like Incogni can help continuously scrub your data from these systems. It's not a set-it-and-forget-it situation either. You need to stay on top of this. Don't wait any longer to take action. Your privacy matters, and it's worth protecting. All right, MacBook fans, listen up. According to 9 to 5 Mac, Apple is planning its first major MacBook Pro redesign since 2021, and it's coming later this year. Now, we've already heard the rumors: OLED displays, touch-enabled screens, the new M6 Pro and M6 Max chips, a dynamic island cutout. Those are all pretty exciting upgrades, right? But here's the thing. There's another big detail about these new machines that has one of our sources genuinely more excited than all of that. Unfortunately, 9 to 5 Mac isn't spelling out exactly what that mystery upgrade is just yet, so we'll have to wait for more details. But the fact that there's something so significant that it's being kept under wraps definitely has us intrigued. Could it be a major redesign to the ports? A completely new thermal design? Better battery life? We're speculating here, but one thing's for sure. This fall MacBook Pro refresh is shaping up to be a really big deal. Stay tuned for more details as they emerge. The legal battle between Apple and Epic Games continues to heat up. Apple Insider is reporting that the two companies have agreed on a pre-court schedule to discuss changes in App Store fees for outbound links. This comes after the Supreme Court declined Apple's request to stay the mandate that the company negotiate a new commission rate with Epic Games. The May 6th decision essentially means the legal action will continue in the coming months. In preparation for the return to district court, Apple and Epic are now working on a timeline to discuss these fee proposals. This is part of a much larger ongoing dispute that's been reshaping how Apple handles its App Store policies. The two companies will need to come to the negotiating table and work out new terms, and this pre-court schedule is the first major step in that process. We'll be watching closely as this unfolds, because the outcome could have significant implications for how all developers work with Apple's platform. In more legal drama, Apple Insider is reporting that Apple's Senior Vice President of Software Engineering, Craig Federighi, has been added as a document custodian in xAI's antitrust lawsuit against Apple and OpenAI. Elon Musk's XAI has been claiming that a partnership between Apple and OpenAI has unfairly disadvantaged Grok in the App Store, with allegations that Apple is showing bias in app rankings to favor ChatGPT over Grok and other alternatives. The good news for Apple? Tim Cook appears to have been spared from being involved in this particular lawsuit. Federighi's addition means he'll be providing documentation and information relevant to the case. But the fact that Musk wasn't able to bring in Apple's CEO shows there are limits to what the court is willing to allow. This lawsuit is one more chapter in the ongoing tension between Musk and Apple over how apps are treated on the App Store. As this case moves forward, we'll see what kind of impact it has on how Apple handles AI-focused applications and partnerships. Let's finish up with some good news for Apple investors. Apple Insider is reporting that Apple's stock closed at a new all-time high above $300 for the first time ever. On May 15th, shares closed at $300.23, surpassing both that major psychological barrier and Apple's previous closing record of $287.51 from May 6th. So what's driving this rally? Investors are rewarding Apple for stronger-than-expected earnings, surging services revenue, and that massive $100 billion buyback announcement. Now, there's been plenty of criticism from some corners about Apple's delayed AI rollout. You know, all those Siri features and Apple Intelligence capabilities that haven't arrived yet. But it seems like investors are willing to give Apple some grace on that front, betting that the company will deliver on its AI promises soon enough. The overall sentiment seems to be that Apple's fundamentals are just too strong to ignore. Services revenue in particular continues to be a bright spot, showing that Apple's ecosystem is as sticky as ever. With WWDC coming up in just a few weeks, we're expecting to see Apple Intelligence finally take center stage, and that could push the stock even higher. All right, everyone, that's all the news we've got for you this week. From adorable cat-proofing apps to legal battles and record stock prices, it's been quite a week in the Apple world. Don't forget that WWDC is less than a month away, so we're expecting some major announcements about Apple Intelligence, iOS 26, and everything else coming to your Apple devices. Make sure you're subscribed to Genai's Mac News so you don't miss any of those announcements. Hit that like button if you found this video helpful. Drop a comment down below telling us what you're most excited about, whether it's the MacBook Pro redesign, the Apple Watch Series 12, or just finally getting Cat's Lock to protect your keyboard from your furry friend. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.